Predict the score, the Seattle Seahawks versus the Miami Dolphins. Coming up here on today's show, I'm going to dive into the latest news, rumors, and a lot of injury stuff to talk about, plus give you a preview in this NFL Week 4 matchup. Dolphins news and rumors, let's get on into it. Byron Jones, is he going to be out Week 4? He left Week 2 versus the Bills and did not practice at all last week. He missed Thursday Night Football versus the Jags. The hope was Brian Flores basically was like, hey, we're not going to rush back our star cornerback. We're not going to try to push him into the lineup when he's not ready. Now, Flores did say today on Monday he's making a lot of improvements, and he's still going to be questionable for Week 4 versus Seattle. Now, this is what he's done in this limited time of action. You're basically looking at 1.5 games this season. Byron Jones is no doubt one of the best cornerbacks when fully healthy, and just like last year, even when players, let's say, did catch the football, they did not go very far. I mean, look at these coverage stats. 4 receptions, 6.5 yards, 26 yards total. That's important because the Seattle Seahawks have one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver duo right now in the National Football League. And this show is more built on like, hey, keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. So the question that I have for you, and I know every single person that tuned in today was like, hey, man, is Byron Jones going to play this week? Type P for play, or I want you to type R for rest. I'm a believer that he's going to be ready to rock and roll and go. The reason why they did not play him in Thursday Night Football, all that extra rest time, and they knew the matchup that they had against the Seahawks. If for some reason he is unable to go, I'm curious on how they start mixing in players because Noah Igbenogany did play a little bit better going up against the Jags, but the Jags, I'm sorry, no disrespect to you because they also didn't have DJ Chark. You're going up against a totally different animal this week. I mean, Tyler Lockett. 29 targets, 24 catches. Yes, that's also a little bit to do with a player like Russell Wilson who's just playing out of his mind, but 259 yards, 4 touchdowns. Oh yeah, there's also this guy, DK Metcalf, who probably should have another touchdown in there, but the ball got punched out at basically the 1-yard line against the Cowboys. Nonetheless, if you don't have Byron Jones, you are going to be relying on a young rookie in Noah Igbenogany to either cover DK or either cover Lockett. My guess is that the Dolphins try to match up Noah Igbenogany with a player like Tyler Lockett and then let Xavier Howard, who's a little bit more physical, go up against DK Metcalf. If you are looking to bet on this game, go to chatsports.com/bet where we are hooking you up with the best deposit bonus on the internet. If you want that 125% deposit bonus, use promo code Dolphins125 at chatsports.com/bet. Mitch, what does that mean? That means if you put down $100, you're going to get $125 for free. The bet that I'm putting on this game is the over, 54.5 points. In the Seahawks games this year, they've averaged 69. That's really nice, and also this deal that we're hooking you up with at BetUS might be even nicer. So Tua, is he going to be the next Russell Wilson? These comparisons have been swirling literally ever since the NFL Scouting Combine when Tua said, I try to emulate Russell Wilson. You know what, Tua? You and just about every single young quarterback, especially for the ones that, might be a little bit undersized. Tua also goes on to say that he respects Wilson's work ethic and that he loves that he's a man of faith. My only problem with this is Russell Wilson right now is not only, I would say, the best quarterback in the National Football League right now, he's also setting records and playing out of his mind. I mean, 76.7% completion percentage. That's bananas. 14 passing touchdowns. That is the most in NFL history through the first 3 games. He is spreading the love around, and as much as y'all know that I love Tua, he is going to be a fun quarterback if he can stay healthy. But comparing him to Russell Wilson right now, even for me, might be a little bit of a stretch. So let me know here, Y for yes or N for no. Will Tua become the next Russell Wilson? It's a tall task. I know a lot of Dolphins fans are going to be typing their Y for yes, but I want you to be honest with me here, okay? Will Tua become the next Russell Wilson? Y for yes or N for no. The Seattle Seahawks, they travel to the Miami Gardens, Florida to take on the Miami Dolphins. And coming into this game, Seattle is just absolutely rolling at 3-0. The Dolphins, they did pick up their first win on Thursday Night Football over the Jacksonville Jaguars. And if you're Miami, you got 10 days rest. You're ready to rock and roll. But are they going to be enough to rock and roll and hard rock against the Seattle Seahawks? Dolphins fans, shout out to you. If you want the most latest news and rumors around your team, go ahead and click that big red button that says subscribe. We've been trying to get to 4,000 new watchers here, and if we do that, we can make more videos. So go ahead and subscribe to the #1 fastest growing Dolphins channel on YouTube. Let's look now at the offenses here for both of these squads. And for the Miami, you're averaging 23.3 points per game. That's good. However, you're going up against an absolute juggernaut in the Seattle Seahawks, who are averaging 37 points. Total yards per game, advantage Seattle. Pass yards, obviously advantage Seattle. Rushing yards, it gets a little bit closer. I think for this one, if the Miami Dolphins want to come out on top, you're going to have to force some turnovers. So you know what? Let's go to the defensive side of the football, where Miami does have a lot of injuries. We'll dive into Byron Jones here in just a second. But for Seattle, they have more takeaways. Yes, the rushing yards per game looks good, but as you can see, the reason why the rushing yards per game is so low is because teams are trying to play catch-up and just a lot, and I mean a lot, of high-scoring games here. So in this one, I anticipate another very high-scoring contest. I understand that the Seahawks are 7-point favorites, and the over-under in this one is 54.5. I don't know about you, but if you are betting on this one, you better bet the over. Why? The Dolphins 2-1 against the spread this year. But this is interesting for the over-under. The Seahawks, they are averaging in their games combined a total of 69 points. Now, that's pretty nice. Now, what's even maybe nicer is some of the deals that we got going on for all y'all. So the Seahawks, 7-point favorites. The Dolphins, the total over-under in this one, 54.5 points. It's time now to get into the Seattle Seahawks news and rumors. Let's first kick off the show with Chris Carson. Report is that he avoided a serious injury. If you didn't see the play, also Tristan Hill, you better get fined. Tristan Hill wraps up Chris Carson, basically does like an alligator type of roll, and when I saw it, I was like, oh no. Oh no, Chris Carson, he's going to be done for the year. Luckily, the Monday MRI showed that it's just a minor knee sprain, and Pete Carroll even came out and said that, you know what? He has a chance to play Week 4 versus Miami. This is what he's done this upcoming season. He has really done a very good job of catching the football. Now, it's also been the way that the offense has worked, but you're looking at a running back who is one of the most underappreciated backs in the National Football League, 157 yards, but he's really been able to show that he can also catch the football. If he is unable to go, look for them to then insert Carlos Hyde, who they brought in this offseason. And as much as I think Carlos Hyde is a little bit of a plotter, when your offense moves the football the way that the Seattle Seahawks do, you're going to be okay. And let's just say Chris Carson is unable to go, because between you and me, I think they're going to be able to win the game without him. You throw in Carlos Hyde for the few carries that you have, and well, the worst case scenario is this. You just keep letting Russ cook, because from what I've seen this year, yeah, you could throw 100 times, and I don't know if anybody's going to stop you. So is Carson going to suit up and play in Week 4? Type H for hopefully, or I want you to type U for unlikely. I am actually going to type my U for unlikely, because if I'm Seattle, I'm a believer that I can win this game, and I can win it without Chris Carson. Jamal Adams, you're next up here. Is he going to play Week 4? He left Week 3 in the fourth quarter against the Cowboys with a groin injury. He was replaced by Ryan Neal, who, remember, Seattle just called up from the practice squad a little bit before this game. He right now is going to be questionable for Week 4 versus Miami. I'm a believer that he's going to be able to suit up and play. Now, with this defense, he's been probably the only bright spot in that secondary, and if he is unable to go, yes, I do anticipate the Dolphins to be able to execute their offense a little bit better. But for me, the matchup that I'm really going to stare closely here is how Adams is going to be able to either go up against Mike Gesicki, who has played very, very well for the Miami Dolphins, or even a player like Devontae Parker's got some size, or even a guy like Preston Williams, who's also been stepping up. Bottom line is this: he's the best player in the secondary. He might be the best player in the entire defense. You went out, you traded 2 first-round picks for a reason. He's a very, very important player. But with all that being said, the Seattle Seahawks should be able to beat the Miami Dolphins. I don't care if they're coming off 10 days rest without him. You rest him up if he's not 100% ready to go, because if you don't have Jamal Adams, I don't know if you're still a Super Bowl favorite in the NFC. Did get a little bit more news here right before I started the show. Jordan Brooks, we got the latest on him. So he suffered an MCL sprain in Week 3. The report is he will likely miss at least a few weeks. The good news, well, if you watch the injury, it looked a lot worse. And for the first-round pick, 27th overall in this past year's draft, you got to be excited that you still have some time to play and that your season isn't over, because originally, I believe all Seahawks fans would say they thought it was going to be a season-ending knee injury. Now, sure, he hasn't made the biggest impact on the field, but you never like to see your first-round pick go down with a season-ending injury. The good news, he's only going to miss a few weeks. The bad news, well, he is going to miss a few weeks. If you've made it this far in the video, if you could, go ahead and give us a like and make sure you hit that subscribe button.